Likutei Halakhos Yomi. We have reached the lesson from Halakhos, Hashkamas Haboker, number 5. In this lesson, in the introduction, it's referring to the concept of rising at midnight, chatzot, and reciting special tefillot. The role model for that was none other than Melech David, King David, who, as Chazal tell us, had a stringed instrument on top of his bed, open to the wind, and when the wind blew in at midnight precisely, he rose to advocate and pray for the Jewish people so they could accurately lead them and give them all that they needed. On this halacha, Rabbi Nassan of Breslov connected to the Torah of his Rebbe, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, to the halacha, to the Torah in the second volume, Chelek Bet Siman Chet, which is known as Tiku Tochacha. And he says as follows: the main point of that Torah is that there's a person who reaches the level of tzaddik. He's called a Baal Koach Gadol. He is empowered to daven, Litpalel Tefillah B'Bchinas Din. That means, as I understand it, that he doesn't need any rachmanis, any empathy from Hashem for his imperfections, but rather, since he has so eliminated evil from his heart and mind, he can actually stand in judgment of evil and evildoers and bring about their downfall. And so when a person is surrounded by klipos, which prevent him, which are husks and shells, which prevent him from coming close to Hashem and gaining the attributes of yirat shamayim, which allows you, make sure you avoid sin, and ahavas Hashem, which will propel you to fulfill all the positive mitzvos, we have to remove those klipos, but the person that you need to turn to is a true tzaddik, a tzaddik emes, who has the koach hatfila. And of course, nowadays, we also include going to kivrei tzaddikim, such as Uman, to access a tzaddik emes who can daven on the level of din. This is associated with the mitzvah of tikkun chatzos, rising at night, which is the deepest part of the darkness, chatzos halayla, and introducing to it the tefillos of the tzaddik who can daven on the level of din. Now we are up to the second paragraph, which is part of our Likutei Halakhos Yomi. This is what's meant by waking up from a deep sleep, which is like rising from the dead, Tchias HaMesim Mamish. There's really a war, the Sitra Achra, like Yaakov struggled with the angel, so too we struggle with ourselves and even find ourselves in a deep sleep, both physically and spiritually. We must break out of that. We must wrestle our way out of that. And the idea is that by waking chatzos and davening to Hashem for mercy, Hashem himself can do judgment. It's because chatzos is a time of judgment against evil in our own hearts and our minds, and certainly from physical enemies that Jewish people have, including illness, disease, and anything which would harm a person from being over Hashem be'gvura u'besimcha. And this is called tikkun sheina, fixing your sleep. And the first thing you need to do, according to the Arizal, says Rav Nassan, is to recite Kriya Shema al Hamita with a lot of kavana. Because Kriya Shema at the bedtime has the level of tefillah b'chinas din. Because it says in Brachos Daf Hey, Kol HaKoreh Kriya Shema al mitaso ki'ilu ochez cherev pipios biyado va'ikr lekasher atzmo tzadik ador. You are gained by saying Kriya Shema at night, which is the time of din. You gain a double-edged sword. Pipiot is, of course, an analogy for tefillah itself, and it gives you the power when you rise in the morning, not only to conquer your Yetzer Hara, your internal evil, but also connect, therefore, to the Tzaddik Ador, who also is called the Baal Koach, that gives you power through your connection with Him to daven on the level of din. And therefore, those who are willing to rise chatzos, they are gaining this sword of cherev pipios biodo. And when they enter their day the next morning, they are actually well equipped and have all the tools and weapons necessary to outfox their Yetzer Hara and to cut away the klipos that prevent our hearts from having Yirat Shamayim, which is avoiding sin, and Ahavas Hashem, which is Kiyum Mitzvos, in a positive way. Have a wonderful day.